Hey everybody, this is Mike, WX0MIK, with another Drive Time Chat for Ham Radio 101. And today, let's talk about online testing. And if I have time at the end, I'll talk about in-person testing as well. What to expect, how to prepare, all that kind of fun stuff. So, arguably, and that's my opinion only, is virtual testing is the best way to test. You don't have to drive anywhere. You don't have to people. And really more importantly is, yes, you can pick a time that's convenient for you, because there's literally all times of the day that you can do testing and across various different teams. Now, I'm going to talk about how I do things, and I'll mention a couple things that I know other teams do, but I cannot tell you what your specific team does. But if you want to test with me, hey, reach out in the DMs and I'll get you into the right place to start testing with me. But anyway, let's kind of start with your environment. Environment is pretty critical in where you pick to test. And it goes from ideal to far less ideal. When you pick your environment, think of some place that is quiet, someplace that is at least reasonably comfortable, because you might be sitting in there for a half hour, a little bit longer, and something that is free of distractions. By distractions, I mean paperwork and all your daily stuff and things like that. Just eliminate it all. You could also say eliminate all the cheating material, but honestly, it's more so just give yourself a nice place to test. Bathrooms are amazing. One, because you have your throne, but two, they're always clean. Clean as in not cluttered, not clean as in clean, because we're not going to judge. But anyway, bathrooms are good. Spare bedrooms are great. Hotel rooms, kind of a similar situation, because typically those are fairly clean. They don't have a lot of stuff associated with them, and just makes things a lot easier to test in. But that doesn't mean you have to use those environments. If you have to use like your home office, that's fine. But you got to do some moving of paperwork and things like that to get it ready to go. Outside, we have tested several people outside before in their backyard. They're just sitting there chilling and enjoying a drink or whatever and getting ready to test. Also, you have cars also work, things like that. So then you look at that environment that you've picked, and you assess it. What do I see from the way I'm going to sit? Am I looking straight at a TV or multiple monitors? Well, that is going to be a problem. Hide as in like cover or unplug, turn around, whatever it takes. Usually just covering up with a towel, a blanket, something like that is the easiest, and just cover them up. You can only have one monitor going. And if you're not using a desk, maybe you're using a laptop, that part's not going to matter. But cover up any TVs, any other displays that might, that you could have as a distraction, or even show the answers, and cover those all up. My particular teams, we're worried more about your visual here, not your visual here, since I'm at a stoplight. If this beside you or behind you, you have to physically look to see it. We are going to notice you turning your head to look at that monitor. So we're not as concerned, but we are still watching you. But other teams will force you to hide every single monitor, every single display in your room. So keep that in mind. Make sure that you have covered all of those monitors. And for our sake, if you want to cover them all, awesome, that's fine too. Let's see here. Anything else on rooms? I think that's good. Then we start talking about the devices. If it can connect to Zoom, we can make it work. So we have tested anyone from laptops, computers, obviously, to cell phones, your iPhone, your Android phone, tablets, Chromebooks. We've tested off all those devices. Like I said, as long as it can run Zoom and it can share a screen, you will work. So you don't have to panic too much about that. Normally someone has at least one of those types of devices. You just have to remember, if you have a phone, you're probably holding it like this the whole time, which might get a little awkward. Close out anything private before you hop into the test. I can't tell you how many times we have seen interesting sites and maybe some work things like that they happen to have open on their computer. Close out of every application other than maybe your browser that you are running Zoom off of. Just start off with a clean slate. That makes it a lot easier for us, and it eliminates any embarrassment from us seeing anything you might not want us to see. And I will leave it at that. So if you do that, really we want you to we will help you make sure that every single application is closed out of the computer. We don't want any screen sharing, anything that'll pop up, anything like that, to distract you throughout the test. So we want to make sure that you have that all closed out. If you have it closed out before we get there, you make our jobs easier and you get testing faster. Calculator, clear your history. If you use if you plan on using the calculator on your device, make sure you go in and you hit clear everything, clear out all your history before you get into the test. That just makes our lives just a little bit easier and just saves yet another step. We will still verify it, but at least it's there. Speaking of which, you are still allowed in virtual testing a plain piece of paper with some sort of writing utensil and a physical calculator if you prefer to use a physical calculator. Some teams may not allow the physical calculator. Most teams I've ever been on have. So those are both allowed as well. I'm trying to do all my room scan stuff to make sure I'm good. Yeah, those are all the biggest highlights before you start testing. One other big thing, make sure you have reliable internet and decent internet. If you're on dial-up, you're probably not going to be able to do testing online because we need you to have your Zoom camera and audio on the entire time. If you're not able to use Zoom or some sort of a meeting like that, you're not going to be able to do testing online, unfortunately. So make sure you have that capability to at least run Zoom at a decent quality. Those are, I think, a lot of the biggest hits. Some teams will have some different room scan requirements, or they may say, no, you can't test outside. Once in a while, they may request a second device. So it doesn't hurt to have like your cell phone handy just in case, so you can quickly install the Zoom app and connect up there. Once in a while, we may just want a secondary view like this to make sure that everything's good. And that, for our teams, it's a situational. For other teams, it is required. So make sure you read all your testing requirements before you sign up even. For our purposes, we use a secondary camera in an environment. One time we tested a kid in a student union hall. It was completely empty with anyone, but we set up that extra camera just so we can kind of see the entire area. We had one person come in. He was right next to a vending machine. They got something. He poked his head over to see what the kid was doing. Didn't say anything and just moved on. And there's a couple of people walking down the hall at various times. But again, they were not interacting with them and they were not distracting. And he, as far as our team was comfortable, that was not cheating. That was just in the environment that he had. I think his room, there was someone else in there he couldn't kick out or something like that. Anyway, 7 threes.